Hello students, are you ready for a new video? Okay, so in the last section, in the last video, we discussed about triangle law of vector addition and parallelogram law of vector addition. So in the triangle law of vector addition, let me recall again. In the triangle law of vector addition, we know that we got that relation is that if the two vectors P and Q acting by the two sides of a triangle, resultant is represented by the third side of the triangle taken in the opposite order. This is my R, which is equal to vector P plus vector Q, isn't it? And what is the angle between P and Q? To know the angle, this is the angle theta between P and Q, right? So how this theta is already we know that. This is the angle between the two vectors P and Q. Then in the parallelogram law of vector addition, if the vectors are represented by the two adjacent sides P and Q are the two vectors at the two adjacent sides, and here this is the angle theta between the two vectors. Then the resultant is represented by the diagonal, that is R, resultant represented by the diagonal R is equal to P plus Q, and obviously this angle is your, this total angle is your theta, isn't it? That we have discussed. We discussed in the last video. And what about these magnitudes? In both the cases, the magnitude of R and the angle made by R with any vector beta, that we derived in the last section. So what the resultant we got? R is equal to, in both the cases, P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cosine of angle between the two vectors root over, because this is R, this is the resultant part. Okay. And what is this beta? If this resultant makes an angle beta with B, here this resultant makes an angle beta with B, then what is the relation? Again you recall that relation. What is then beta? That is equal to Q, next vector, Q sin theta by P plus Q cos theta, isn't it? Isn't it? Here Q sin theta by P plus Q cos theta. Then we got the different cases. If the two vectors are acting in the same direction, theta is equal to 0. They are parallel, theta is equal to 0. They are anti-parallel, in opposite direction, theta is 180. If they are perpendicular, what will be the resultant? Different cases we have. We got the relations for different cases. Now in this discussion, let me give you some example that in the last video we have not discussed about the examples like here. So you can think that what this resultant means. In the last section I told that what this resultant means. Resultant of two vectors means acting the two vectors on the body is same as that of remove the two vectors and apply the resultant. It will give you the same effect. Right? That is the resultant. In place of this P and Q, if I will apply R, that will give me the same effect what is done by P and Q. The flying of birds. When you watch the flying of birds, birds are flying. When you watch the flying of birds, by the wings, it pushes the air in backward, like this, downward. It pushes the air in downward. These are the wings, downward. So as per Newton's third law, the air will pushes the wings upward, opposite direction. So when the bird So this is the bird with its wings pushes downward. Then so if this is a bird wings. So I am not clear about the figures. So you think that. So suppose this is your bird with the wings are like this. Now in this case, the wings pushes like this with forces. The wings pushes the air. So air will do what? Opposite direction. So the air will push in opposite direction like this to the wings. The air will pushes the wings in opposite direction. So when the wings are pushes, then the wing pushes in opposite direction. Then what you will find? Then in this case, let me make it more clear. So suppose this is the bird, body of the bird, and these are the wings. So this is the bird. Okay, bird. Now the bird pushes the wings like this. So this is the force by the wings. F1, F2. Then the air will pushes in opposite direction. So this is the resultant R1, or you can say this is suppose P1 force by the air of equal and opposite. What is F1? That is P1. Okay. Then this is P2 opposite. P1, P2, F1 and F2. So what is this F1? That is P1, but opposite direction. F2, P2. Action, reaction, Newton's third law. Already you know that. If the wings pushes the air pushes upward. It is downward, it will push upward. So what will happen to the bird? The bird will go up. Why the bird will go up? By pushing the wings like this, it will push the wings like this. It will push the wings like this towards a point. Means this wing comes here, this wing comes here. So it pushes like this. So the air pushes opposite, so the bird goes up. So this is bird goes up. This is the resultant R. What is this R? P1 plus P2 vector. This is the examples. Right? Similarly, all of you are using that sling, the Y-shaped metallic or wooden, where there is a string is there. Wooden frame, Y-shaped wooden frame. Right? A string is there. String. So if you put a stone here and release, the stone will go like this. This is the resultant. Because of the forces like here. What is this forces? Tensions. Here it comes here tension. That in dimensional analysis you use the term tension. Right? So when you put this one, the tension X, these two tensions give the resultant. So the stone will go like this. So this is the result of this one. This is the example. This gives the same effect. So we will not go for this one. These are the examples. Now, in this expression, what we got that, if I will ask you, under what condition the resultant of two vectors will be maximum? Under what condition? You got the cases, case 1, case 2, case 3 like that. Under what condition the resultant is maximum? 1. What condition? If theta is equal to 0. Why? If theta is equal to 0, this will be give you what? Cos 0. Maximum value. 1. What is the maximum value of cos theta? 1. What is the maximum value of cos theta? 1. Clear? And so the maximum value of cos theta is 1. And what is the minimum value of cos theta? -1. Cos theta varies from +1 to -1. So when this is maximum, R is maximum. So when theta is equal to 0, this is maximum. So R max is equal to how much? Already know that. Sum of magnitudes of P plus Q. Means, what it means? If a body is there, under what condition we will get the maximum effect of resultant on this body? If the two vectors acting on the body in the same direction, theta is equal to 0, then it has a more or maximum effect of resultant. Next, Under what condition this is minimum? When this is minus 1. When it is minus 1, theta is equal to 180. Theta is equal to 180. So they are anti-parallel. For parallel vectors, R is maximum. For anti-parallel vectors, R is minimum. What is this minimum value? P minus Q. Because cos 180 minus 1, already we have discussed that one. P minus Q. Clear? Now, in this case, if the two vectors are of same magnitude, if the two vectors are of same magnitude, means modulus of P is equal to modulus of Q. Same magnitude. Then the maximum value will be what? 2 times of P or 2 times of Q. Both are same magnitude. Here we are considering magnitude, not direction. It is the magnitude of resultant. Direction is this one, beta. Okay. What is the minimum? 0. What is minimum? 0. The two vectors anti-parallel. You are applying with a force 5 Newton in this direction. Your friend is applying 5 Newton in this direction. What happens to this body? The body will not move. The body will not move. This is called equilibrium. This is called equilibrium. You are applying two forces, but the body has no effect. There is no resultant. This is the equilibrium condition. We will discuss that thing. Okay. So this is called equilibrium. So now, if P is equal to Q, magnitude of both are same, then it is what will be the minimum one? 0. Now in this case, if P is not equal to Q, then R minimum is equal to P minus Q, and this will be never equal to 0. If P is not equal to Q, let me write here, if we have discussed this part, next is take this as case number 3. If P magnitude is not equal to Q magnitude and theta is 180, anti-parallel. So what is minimum value? P minus Q, which is not equal to 0. Means two unequal vectors, different magnitude, x anti-parallel or they are anti-parallel, equal magnitude, anti-parallel, then the resultant is not equal to 0. So to make this resultant 0, I need another vector. I need another vector. Simple logic, understand this thing. Now here you see, you are applying 5 Newton force this direction. Your friend applying 3 Newton this direction. What is the resultant? 5 minus 3, larger minus smaller. What will be the resultant? 2 Newton, 5 minus 3. R minimum equal to 5 minus 3, 2 Newton. Because they are anti-parallel, opposite direction. Magnitude is different. 5 Newton minus 3 Newton, 2 Newton in this direction. So what is the resultant on this one? Instead of applying 5 Newton, instead of applying 3 Newton, if I will apply 2 Newton in this direction, then it has the same effect. Using 5 and 3, if I apply 2 Newton on this body like this. So as you know, if I apply a force 2 Newton, the body will go along this direction. What direction? Along this direction. Along this direction. Right? Are you getting? Now, if I want to make the body equilibrium or 0 resultant, what I will do? Can I get the 0, 5 and 3 by applying this 5 and 3? Can I get the resultant 0? No. Already 2 Newton is there. And if you take any other angle support, it is anti-parallel, 5 Newton, 3 Newton, 180, 150, 160, 130, 45 degree, 60 degree, whatever may be the angle, the minimum value is not equal to 0. So to make this 0, when the resultant becomes 0, but the number of forces are acting, then that is the condition of equilibrium. So to make the body equilibrium or at rest, but you are applying the forces. In that case, what I have to do? Now, see this example, simple example. 5, 3, what is the resultant? 2 Newton in this direction. If I will apply again another 2 Newton in this direction, again another 2 Newton along this direction, then what will happen? the body comes to rest. But how many vectors are acting on this body? How many forces are acting? 3. How many? 5, 3, 2. How many? 3 vectors. It means if the magnitude of the 2 vectors are not equal, but to get the resultant 0, then we have to use another vector which is of equal magnitude and opposite direction of the resultant of the 2 vectors. So my point is here that it means we can say that the minimum number of vectors, remember this thing or note down, the minimum number of vectors of unequal magnitudes whose resultant can be 0 is dash 3 is 3 P Q different magnitude, the resultant R which is equal to P plus Q. Resultant is not 0 because they are different magnitude. It is not 0. So to make this 0, again I will apply minus R. Then how many vectors? Q, P, minus R. Combining these 3, I will give this R is equal to 0. The resultant is on this is how much? 0. So how many forces are vectors are required? Minimum 3. Yeah. So this is the total concept of triangle and a parallelogram law. Now we will go for the third law of vector addition, polygon law of vector addition. And remember, triangle law and parallelogram law is used to know the resultant of 2 vectors acting on a body. Polygon law is used to know the resultant or used to find the resultant if more than 2 vectors acting on a body. If more than 2 vectors acting on a body simultaneously, then we will use the polygon law of vector addition. Clear? Is that clear? Now can I write this polygon law of vector addition? Now we will go for polygon law. So this law must contain more than 2 vectors acting on this body. Okay? And this, remember one thing again, this polygon law is somewhat extended form of triangle law. I will use this triangle law and I will get the polygon law. So sometimes you can say that polygon law is because of triangle law, or it is the growing of triangle law gives me polygon. Clear? Now let me erase this one. Let me write this polygon law of vector addition. Now we will go for the polygon law of vector addition. Similarly, what this polygon law we will use? This polygon law is used to find the resultant of more than 2 vectors acting on a body. Right? So now let me state the polygon law of vector addition. What is statement? Statement is if a number of vectors represented both are represented both in magnitude and direction, by the sides of an open polygon. I will tell you what is this open polygon. Of a open polygon, right? So the sides are naturally more than 4 polygon. So of an open polygon taken in the same order, taken in the same order, then the resultant vector then the resultant vector is represented in magnitude and direction by the closing side, because it is open polygon. So I have to make this polygon close direction by the closing side of the polygon. It is not complete. Closing side of the polygon taken in the opposite order. Got it? Okay. If a number of vectors are represented both in magnitude and direction by the sides of an open polygon. So let me make it the proof here. And this can be proved by triangle law, extension of the triangle law. Proved by triangle law. By using the triangle law, we can prove this one. Magnitude direction by the sides of an open polygon taken in the same order. So let us consider the vectors are like this. A and vector is like B, C, D, E. Okay, now the vectors are acting like this. A, B, C, D, E are given. Now I use the polygon law for this one. Do the parallel shifting by shifting parallel anyway. I will make these vectors as the sides of an open polygon. By sides of an open polygon. Clear? So don't make it more complicated. Let us take for 4 vectors, then we can do for more than that. How it is done. So now by parallel shifting. So this is a vector A. B, C, D are given. If a number of vectors are represented in magnitude direction by the sides of an open polygon, they are not in the sides of an open polygon. I can make them by parallel shifting. So how parallel shifting is there? Now let us consider this B is shifting like this. Right? So if I B is shifted like this, so I will make this B here. Clear? B. Then C is here, then I will make the C again B. Okay? So in that way, I can make this as the sides of a open polygon. Clear? Is that clear? Or to make the sides of an open polygon, what I will to do consider here? They should be in the same order. So as I now told you, if I make this N, I can know the angle between A and B. I can know the angle between A and B to make this parallel shifting. But to make the sides of an open polygon, they should be in the same order. Same order means already I told that. Tail, head of first, tail of second, head of second, tail of third. Right? Head of third, tail of fourth. Like that, they are called as a same order. So by parallel shifting, let me make the sides like this. A, B. Okay, let me make this small one. A, vector B, isn't it? Then let me make the C as like this. C. Then as a vector D, suppose by parallel shifting, let this is D. They are represented by the sides of a polygon taken in the opposite order. So instead of giving like this or like this, if they are right, this is our law. If a number of vectors are represented both in magnitude and direction by the sides of an open polygon taken in the same order, then this is an open polygon. Then the resultant vector is represented in magnitude and direction by the closing side of the polygon. Now we make the closing side of the polygon. To make the closing side of the polygon, what I have to do? I have to join here to here. This is the closing side. Taken in the opposite order. So they are in this order. They are going along this order. So this is a opposite, means it is like this. So this is the resultant R. So this is my resultant R. Isn't it? So this is my resultant R. And what this R I have to prove? R should be equal to a vector. Remember, I am using the vector symbol. B vector, C vector, D vector, resultant. If 5 vectors are given, another vector, then the resultant like this. Clear? So in that way, we have to find. So how to find this one? Now you do one by one step. So let me join, as A and B are the two sides of a triangle. So if I make a triangle like this, then let this is your R1. This is the resultant of A and B. Forget about this thing. A and B are the two vectors. R1 is the resultant. Then if R1 is the resultant, A and B are in the same order. What is the R1? In triangle law, opposite order. So this is my R1. Opposite. They are in this direction. This is opposite. Then now think that R1 is a vector and C1 is a vector. Now make a triangle like this. Again a triangle. R1 is a vector. It is the resultant of what? I don't know. But R1 is a vector, C is a vector, they are in the same direction. And let this is the resultant R2. They are in the same order, so this is R2. Okay? R2. So this is R2 and D. R2 and D are the two sides of a triangle. Then what is this R? R is the closing side and this should be the resultant. So instead of doing one by final result, I can go using the triangle law. That's why I told that this is the extension of triangle law. So how we prove this one? Let me write direct here. R1 is equal to resultant of A and B using triangle law of vector addition. Using triangle law of vector addition, the resultant of A and B. I am not doing analytically. For the direction, all these things you know, already you know that. Analytically means getting the magnitude, direction, theta for R, magnitude R equal to A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. That is analytically we are proving that. But I am taking in vector form. Using triangle law of vector addition, the resultant of A and B is R1. That should be equal to A plus B. Isn't it? Right? Next, the resultant of what? R1 and C. R1 and C is what? R1 and C is R2. According to triangle law, it is clear. According to triangle law, R2 is equal to R1 vector plus C vector. What is this R1? A plus B. Now you put this R1. Already know this R1 equal to A plus B. A plus B plus. This is R. Now, the resultant of R2 and D is what? R. So R is equal to R2 plus D. Then what is this R2? A plus B plus C. Put this R2. A vector, B vector, C vector, D vector. What you got? The resultant is equal to A plus B plus C plus D. Very simple. Okay? Is that clear? Is that clear? Now, if the number of vectors are represented by the sides of a closed polygon, then taken in the same order, then what will be the resultant. What will be the resultant? Are you getting my point? If all these vectors are represented, so R is not a vector also here, or R is a vector. Okay, R is a vector, but this is not the resultant case. R is a vector which is also in the same order. Which is also the same order. You are given 4 vectors, but you represent these 4 vectors as the 4 sides of a closed polygon taken in the same order. Then what is the resultant? What is the resultant? 0. Isn't it? Because as you know that A plus B plus C plus D is equal to R, and this R should be along opposite direction, along this direction. But now you are applying another vector which is opposite, equal magnitude and opposite. Then what is this resultant? 0. R minimum resultant, R minimum, P minus Q. Here both are same and opposite direction. So now we are applying an R vector which is opposite to the resultant of A, B, C, D. Because as you know, the resultant of A, B, C, D, as you know that this is your actually R which is equal to A plus B plus C plus D. But you are making this R opposite. Means at this place you are applying another vector in opposite direction, that is your minus R. So the sum of these two is what? R is equal to 0. That is a 1 mark question. If I have given 4 vectors or 5 vectors like that, more than 2 vectors, and you are representing the sides of an open polygon, closed polygon, taken in the same order, what will be the resultant? 0. Similarly, you have 3 vectors, represent the 3 sides of a triangle, taken in the same order. What is the resultant? What is the resultant? A, B are the 2 sides of a triangle. A, B are the 2 sides of a triangle. A, B, R1 in this one. But R1 is this side. But you are applying minus R1 like this. A, B, R1, but you are making this R1 opposite. Same order. Then what is the result of this 3? According to triangle law? 0. So the resultant is equal to 0. This is the point we should understand. Now we will go for the what are the properties of vector addition. That was very, very important, because vectors are those quantities which have magnitude and direction, and they should obey the law of vector addition. Law of vector addition. Got it? So we will go for the properties of vector addition. Now go for the properties of vector addition. So we discussed the different laws of vector addition. Then we will go for the properties. Now vectors of the same nature alone can be added. That is the most important thing. Already we know that. So I can write this as a vectors of the same nature alone. Vectors of the same nature. Vectors of the same nature alone can be added. Got it? Vectors of the same nature alone can be added. It means a force vector can be added with a force vector. A velocity vector can be added with a velocity vector. A displacement vector can be added with a displacement vector. That is the vectors of the same nature alone can be added. Now go to the second one, that is the most important. Vector addition is commutative. Vector addition is commutative. Vector addition is commutative. It means what? Commutative means what? Means the sum of the vectors remain. The sum of the vectors, the sum of the addition of the vectors remain unchanged. Remains, the sum of the vectors remain unchanged in whatever order they may be added. In whatever order they may be added. They may be added. Let make a proof of this one. So what this mathematically says, suppose I will take the vectors, let me small letters I am using, a vector plus b vector. This is same as that of the sum of the vectors remain unchanged in whatever order they may be. A plus b is same as that of b plus a. This is the vector addition is commutative. This is the vector addition is a commutative. Okay. So how to find this vector addition is a commutative? How we will prove this one? Clear? Now take the like this A and B are the two vectors. Let me represent this vector A and B. A and B are the two vectors. Clear? So if this is B, let me make a parallel shifting like this. So let this is also B. These are parallel. By parallel shifting, you can make this is the vector B also. I can show this is also B. Okay. Let me make another color. So this is vector B. Same magnitude and parallel to this one. This is my vector B. No problem. And this is A means I will make this is also A. This is A. Clear? Here I will prove that A plus B is equal to B plus A. Same thing. So now I will do this one. If these are the triangle law, now let me apply the triangle law. So according to triangle law, forget about this red color. A and B are the two vectors. What is the resultant? This is the resultant R. What is this R? I will say A plus B. A plus B. Is that clear? Now, what is the resultant of B and A? B and A, they are in the same order. B and A are in the same order. Then the resultant will be in opposite order at the side of the triangle. So for that, by this one, proof I can say R is equal to A plus B using triangle law. Let me give the names A, B, C, D. Using triangle law to the triangle ABC. ABC. This is the case. Is that clear? Using triangle law to the triangle ABC, R is equal to A plus B. Next, using triangle law to the triangle ADC. ADC is made by the same B vector is placed here, same A vector parallel shifted here. So this is the triangle. Using triangle law to the triangle ADC. What is the resultant? R. Because they are in the same order. R is equal to B plus A. R is equal to B plus A. So same R represent A plus B and B plus A. So from these two, A plus B is equal to B plus A. Is that clear? This is the proof. Is that clear? So this is called this is known as a vector addition is a commutative. Is that clear? The sum of the vectors remain unchanged in whatever order they may be added. Now we will go for the vector next third one. Let me erase this proof part. Vector addition. Let the third one. Vector addition is associative. Vector addition is associative. What is associative means? Like your commutative, associative is same thing. What is this associative means? The sum of the vectors remain unchanged in whatever grouping they are added. So let me write here. The sum of the vectors remain unchanged in whatever grouping they are added. Are you getting this thing? Let us consider the case is like there are given vectors A vector, B vector, and C vector. Now I am adding this. So one will make this A plus B. Clear? In a group. First he add A plus B, then this is added to C. This is a group. Whatever grouping, A and B first added and got the resultant. That result is added C. This is same method of you can make A plus, you can make B and C also a one group. First you do B plus C, find the resultant, then add with A. No problem. Both will give you the same result. Both will give you the same result. Can I show this one? Are you interested to know? Let me draw that one. I am not writing in detail, suppose. So let A, B is the vector, yes, and C is the vector, like this. And C. Let the vectors are given like this. Clear? So first you find A plus B. First you find A plus B. Forget about C. First you do A plus B. First grouping A plus B. So what is this A plus B? Which one? If you take a triangle, there are two sides of a triangle, then this will be the opposing side like this. This is your what? A plus B. Now add A plus B with C. Now think that this is one vector in what order? Opposite. They are in the same order, so this will be in the opposite order. A plus B. Now A plus B is added with C. What is the resultant? They are in the same order, so this is the resultant. R. The resultant R. So first you made A plus B, then go for C, then we are getting the resultant R. Now you do other way. First you make B and C as a group. Now first you make B and C as a group. First you find B plus C. If B and C are the triangles, then the resultant will be this one. Close the triangle. They are in the same order. This will be in opposite order, means what? They are going in this direction. So I will make this in opposite. So this is your B plus C. Got it? Now A plus B plus C. Now you think this one. A, B plus C. This is again a triangle. Two sides of a triangle. This one and this one are the two sides taken in the same order. What is the resultant? What is this? A plus B plus C. So A plus B plus C. So this is the proof. Okay. Next, the fourth one. Vector addition is associative. Fourth one. Vector addition. Sorry, associative is written. Vector addition is, let me read this one. Vector addition is distributive. Vector addition is distributive. Distributive means it is distributed. Vector addition is distributed. Means according to this one, if there is a scalar, suppose there is a scalar, suppose n is a scalar, some quantity having only magnitude is doing like this, n into a plus b, n into a plus b. Sum of two vectors and n is the scalar or a number is multiplied. So it is distributive means this n is distributed to each vector. N is distributed to each vector. Distributed means A will take n, B also take n, so they will be written as Na plus Nb. Na plus Nb. Is that clear? Is that clear? So this is called as your properties of vector addition. So now we'll go for the another one is that the condition for zero resultant. From after that, already I told you this concept here. Now let me make it a small note. What I told you. Let me make this as a small note that what is the conditions, or you can say that the condition for equilibrium or equilibrium condition. Equilibrium condition, or this is also called as the make the condition for zero resultant. Equilibrium condition or condition for zero resultant. Already I discussed this thing. Number of vectors are acting, but you are getting resultant zero. But you are getting resultant zero. That we will discuss here. Equilibrium condition and condition for zero resultant. So what you will do? What I will write here now? You see here. So before we go this one, we will think this about this one. If three vectors are acting at a point, if three vectors are acting at a point simultaneously, minimum three vectors acting at a point simultaneously, and the resultant is zero, then these vectors are represented by the three sides of a triangle taken in the same order. Similarly, if more than three vectors are acting on a body, are represented by the sides of an polygon taken in the same order, then the resultant is a zero. That already you have discussed. We have discussed that. So let you write here one thing is that if three vectors are acting at a point, if three vectors acting at a point, simultaneously, or now you know about, you are acquainted with my writing, so there is no problem. I will make it short. If three vectors acting at a point simultaneously, if three vectors acting at a point simultaneously and the resultant is zero, then the resultant is zero, then these vectors are represented, represented by the three sides of a triangle, obviously with magnitude and direction. Three sides of a triangle taken in the same order, It means what? What is that condition for equilibrium condition means what? This gives you a condition that when you make the resultant is zero, if you have given three vectors acting on a body, and by any way, if you represent that as the three sides of a triangle like this, A, B, C, all are in the same order. A, B, C are in the same order. Then the resultant is zero. But so that means the condition is A plus B plus C is equal to 0. This is the equilibrium condition. Means the sum of the vectors acting at a point is 0. That is the condition of equilibrium. 3, 5, 7, 9, whatever may be the vectors. Okay. Now, so from here, how we will prove this one? How we will show this one? As you know, let it take the triangle as PQR. In the triangle PQR, use the triangle law. What is PR vector? P to R, not R to P. P to R. This P to R resultant. P to R is equal to A vector plus B vector according to triangle law. So what is this PR? That is equal to let R. R is equal to A plus B. That is the case already, we know that. But here, in this case, if you see, what is this R and C? One vector, like this is your R, this should be your R, but you have shown C is this one. So what I will say? Negative vector. So H R is equal to minus C. Negative vector, representation of a negative vector. Same magnitude, opposite direction. That is the negative vector. As R is equal to minus C, this implies, put this R equal to minus C. Minus C is equal to A plus B. So this implies A plus B, take this vector this side, plus C is equal to 0. Remember one thing, while writing you should put the arrow marks here, because these are the vector addition. Don't write A plus B plus C. It should be represented by a arrowhead at the top or by bold letter. Bold letter. It is not possible for us to write bold letter every time. If I write bold letter every time, then what I have to do? I have to make the pen mark like this, like this. This is the bold letter. So it is not possible. So we are using this notation, right? So this is the equilibrium condition. Similarly, if you say for a parallelogram, if more vectors, more number of, let me make the correction, acting at a point simultaneously, and the resultant is 0, then these vectors are represented by the sides of a polygon. Sides of a polygon taken in the same order. This is also true. Note down. You should note these things. I am not repeating this thing means for make it convenient for me. I am not writing, but in the notes you have to write this thing. You have to write these things. So if more number of vectors are acting simultaneously at a point and the resultant is 0, then these vectors are represented by the sides of a polygon taken in the same order. This gives me the condition for 0 resultant. Condition for 0 resultant. Let A, B, C, D, E. Sides of a polygon. Okay. So the set is a polygon. So what this set condition says? A plus B plus C plus D plus E should be equal to 0. Why? As you know, R the resultant of A, B, C, D. What that? A plus B plus C plus D. Already you know that. By polygon law. By polygon law, if this is not there, A plus B plus C plus D are the sides taken in the same order, then the resultant R is equal to this one. H in the at R, what is there? E, but it is opposite direction. So I can write R is equal to negative 1. So put that R is equal to minus C. Minus C is equal to A, B, C, D. Add this A, B, C, D, E is equal to 0. Prove that? I proved that. Clear? So this is the trick to find how to the resultant is 0. And remember one thing. There is a term called as, it comes here, equilibrium vector. From here you will get a definition that is called as equilibrium vector. Equilibrium. What is this equilibrium vector? Means a number of vectors acting on the body or at a point, the resultant is 0. That is the condition of equilibrium. That is the condition of equilibrium. And that equilibrium gives you a vector that is called equilibrium vector. What is equilibrium vector? In these cases, when we are using R is equal to in the triangle law case. Okay, go back. R is equal to in the triangle law. When I prove that A, B, C. So C, can I say C as a equilibrium? Can I say C as a equilibrium? Yes. Because of A plus B, I am getting R. Resultant R. R is equal to A plus B. But when I apply this C, it makes it 0. So C is an equilibrium. In this case, E is a equilibrium. Vector E is a equilibrium. It makes the total Addition of vectors is 0. So I can say this is the equilibrium. So equilibrium vector is a single vector. Let me write this statement. Equilibrium which gives equilibrium, that is called equilibrium. Equilibrium is a vector. Equilibrium is a vector which balances equilibrium is a vector which balances two or more than two vectors. Two or more than two vectors. More than two vectors. Two vectors, triangle law. More than two vectors, polygon law. Two or more than two vectors. Two or more vectors acting simultaneously. They should act at a time. I apply 5 Newton today, then 3 days after I apply 3 Newton in opposite direction. Can I get the result 2 Newton? No. 5 Newton, 3 Newton should act at the same time. 5 Newton are applying here and 3 Newton he is applying here. Your friend is applying. Here is I am applying 5 Newton, you are applying 3 Newton at the same time. Today I applied 5 Newton. You come and watch the video and again you are thought that yes, I have to apply 3 Newton in opposite direction. As our teacher told that. So you apply after 2 days you are watching the video and you are applying 3 Newton. 5 Newton I applied 2 days back. Now you are applying 3 Newton. Will you get 2 Newton? No, it should be simultaneously. So that's why I am telling that watch the video on the same day so that you can apply simultaneously. Okay. So two or more than two vectors acting simultaneously at a point. Acting simultaneously at a point. Okay. Equilibrium is a vector, is a single vector which balances two or more than two vectors acting simultaneously at a point. Clear that? Now we will switch over to the operation of vectors. Here we are discussing the operation of vectors. In the operation of vectors, I already told that addition, subtraction, multiplication. But we will not discuss about division because vector division is nowhere. It is meaningless. If you tell somewhere vector division, I am doing the vector division, you are dividing one vector by another vector, then this is an insult to us. This is an insult to us. Because who told you that vectors division can be possible? It is not so. So we will discuss operation means addition, subtraction and multiplication. So next we will go for the subtraction of vectors. Okay. Subtraction of vectors. So if we know addition of vectors, then we can do the subtraction of vectors. Subtraction of vectors means if we subtract vector 1 from vector 2, it is same as that of addition of negative vector of 1 with the vector 2. Means, let me write this. Subtraction of a vector b, subtraction of a vector b from a vector a. Subtraction of vector b from a vector a is the addition of what? Is the addition of negative vector of b, means minus b, with the addition of negative vector of b, same magnitude, opposite direction, is the addition of negative vector of b with vector a. With with vector A. What I written here? Subtraction of a vector B from a vector A. A. From A. Subtract B. A minus B is equal to, is the addition of negative vector of B with vector A. With vector A and negative vector of B. Both are same. Plus and minus, minus. Let us prove that by graphically. Let us prove that by graphically. What will we prove? How will we prove this one? Let this is a vector A. We have given a vector A. Yes, this is the vector A. And another vector B. And angle between these vectors is theta. Okay, clear? Then, what is the resultant of this A and B? Already know that this is the resultant of A plus B. So, if I subtract, clear? If I do the subtraction, then what is the A and B? Then what is minus B? Then this A and B is equal to R is equal to A plus B. Now do the minus B. Now I am subtracting A minus B. I want to find A minus B. A minus B. So if B is this one, then take the equal length of this one. This difference the magnitude. Check the same in the same direction means if I like shift this parallel. Shift this parallel. Keep this B vector here. But I want minus B. So means opposite direction. Opposite direction. Like this. Minus B. Clear? This is minus B. Negative vector. B minus B. So this is the two vectors. Think that this minus B is a vector. C is a vector. Minus B. Negative of, forget about this minus. I have already told that in vector A minus A. Same magnitude. Difference is that opposite direction. A is this direction means towards you. Then minus A is towards me. From your side it is towards me. That is the difference. So this is a minus B. So A minus B means addition of these two vectors. Addition of these two vectors means what? If you make the parallelogram, to this one, looks like a parallelogram. A, this should be A, and minus B, this should be minus B. Parallel. Clear? Same parallel and equal. So what is the resultant of A minus B? Think this is a vector, this is a vector. Two sides of a parallelogram. Then the resultant is represented by the diagonal starting from that point. This is the resultant R. What is R? R is equal to A vector plus minus B vector. Wait, okay. R is equal to what? This R is equal to A vector plus a vector that is minus B. This is equal to R vector. This is equal to R vector. This is the R vector. Clear? Then, if this angle is theta, then what is the angle between A and minus B? This angle is theta. Then what is about this angle? This total angle is 180. This is 180 minus theta. That is the difference in subtraction. That is the difference. If this is the difference in subtraction, then what we will do now? In this case, what we will do now? To know the resultant, as you know, the resultant of A and B, A vector and B vector, this is R. Think that this is a vector. Minus B is for direction part. So these two vectors are, what is the magnitude of R? In this case, subtraction, magnitude of R, magnitude of A square plus magnitude of B minus B, same B square. Magnitude of minus B means B square plus 2 magnitude of A, magnitude of B, not minus B, magnitude of B, cos, what is the angle between A and minus B? A and B, what is the angle between these two? 180 minus theta, whole root over whole root of 1. So this is equal to a square plus b square 2ab cos 180 minus theta minus cos theta. This is the resultant magnitude in subtraction. In subtraction, this will be the resultant. If similarly this resultant makes an angle what? Beta. This resultant makes an angle beta with a This resultant makes an angle beta with what? A. Then what is beta? Tan beta. Tan beta is equal to magnitude of the other. It makes an A. So remember the sequence. Magnitude of minus B. B what? B sin theta. Theta means here theta is what? 180 minus theta. Angle between these two. B sin 180 minus theta divided by A plus B cos 180 minus theta. What will we get here? B sin 180 minus theta sin theta by A plus B cos 80 minus 1 theta minus cos theta. So this is plus, means this becomes minus cos theta. This is your tan beta, or beta is equal to tan inverse B sin theta by A minus B cos theta. A minus B cos theta. Is that clear? All of you clear about this thing? Now we'll shift towards to give you an example like what? Okay. Now we'll give you an example like where the subtraction is actually used. And remember, this will be used in our further studies, that when a particle is moving with constant speed in a circular path. A particle is moving with constant speed in a circular path. Constant speed in a circular path. Find constant speed in a circular path. Find the change in velocity. Find the change in velocity at 2 points. Find the change in velocity at 2 points P and Q. Find the change in velocity at 2 points P and Q. Then find the change in velocity when it passes 2 points P and Q. Here we will apply this subtraction. One of the example I have taken here, I have considered. Here we will apply this subtraction. How we will apply this one? As you know, when a particle is in a circular path, you might have heard this or you might have read, I don't know. But let me make you clear about this thing. A particle is moving in a circular path, and this is called as the center. With this center, the particle is moving in the circular path with a constant speed. Right? Now, let us consider in the figure it is given P and Q. So let this is P and this is Q. These are 2 points. Yes, P and Q are the 2 points. Now the question I ask, find the change in velocity. When when it passes 2 points P and Q. When the particle passes P and Q, the 2 points, at P Means naturally at point P it has a different velocity, at Q it has another velocity. Naturally, at P one velocity, at Q it has another velocity. What is the change in velocity? To find that change in velocity, I need this subtractional vector. That is my point to understand this thing. Clear? So to do that, as you know, when a particle is moving with uniform speed, it completes the circular path, but its velocity is different. How? Take a string, tie a stone here, put a stone here, keep this is the axis, where you are with your hand, put that, keep that in your hand. Now you rotate that. The stone is here, the string is rotating like this. It is rotating, like this. Now you rotate this one, you are rotating like this. When that breaks, when the string breaks at any place, what happens to the stone? The stone goes tangentially, like this. Means when it breaks, so if this is the string, when the stone breaks here, it will go tangentially like this. Tangent. So this is the velocity here, v1. This is the velocity v1. This is the direction. Means the stone will go like this. When it goes at Q, what is velocity? Tangential, v2. So the velocity is different. Speed is same. What is velocity? Speed, magnitude. Speed gives magnitude. Multiply the direction. That is the velocity. Vector and scalar. Very simple thing. Think the logic. Velocity is a vector, speed is a scalar. From speed I can say vector, velocity. How? Speed gives me magnitude, velocity gives me magnitude and direction. My speed is 5 km per hour. My velocity is 5 km per hour towards north. 5 km per hour speed multiply north. It will give me vector. Like that. The direction changes like this. Clear? So to know the change in velocity, I will use this concept of subtraction of vectors. So when it P and now it goes to point Q. Now it goes to the point Q. Clear? So in this path, then it goes from point P to Q. Clear? So when it goes to P to Q, then I can say that from P to Q, what is the change in velocity? So show this one. Let this velocity v1, I show this velocity v1. At P, this is the velocity v1. At Q, let this is the velocity q. So let us make it more clear that. So let it at the point Q is here. This quarter, half of 1/4 quarter. So this is perpendicular. Let us see. So for that, it is very easy for us. So let this is V2. Otherwise, I have to take theta. Let me make this as V2. So V1 this one, and what is V2? V2 is this one. They are actually different terms. Clear? V1 is this one. It is not straight. V1, and this is V2. It is given here. Now when it reaches from P to Q, means 1/4 of the circle. P and Q are the 1/4. So you can find the change in velocity when it passes 2 points P and Q. Otherwise, if theta, if Q is here also, there is no problem. You can take the angle theta. Get the angle theta, accordingly you will get the angle. For 90 it is very easy for you, that's why I am doing like that. So now you say here V1 and V2. What I can do here to find the resultant? To find the resultant, what I will do? Now I parallel shift this one and make this V2 here. V2 now make here. So by parallel shifting, this is V1. What is V2? This is V2. I can make like this. V1 and V2. Clear? V1 and V2. Clear? Or this, or take this V1 here. So V2, take this V1 here. Here, parallel shifting V1. Clear? V2, V1. So by using this subtraction, I will make this as minus V1. I will make this as minus V1. How will make this by minus V1? If I opposite the direction like this. So this is minus V1. This becomes V2 minus V1. Then they are in the same order of a triangle. Let me close the triangle. What is the resultant? This is the resultant. In the same order, they are coming like this. So this will be in the but opposite order, this. So this is the resultant R. Change in velocity. R is equal to what? V2 plus of minus V1. What is this one? V2 minus V1. This is the use of subtraction. This is the use of subtraction. And if you do that, change in velocity, you are finding the change in velocity. But if you want to find the addition of velocity, what is V1 plus V2? What is the velocity? V1 plus V2. So you will shift this one. So this will be a triangle. Right? So this addition means what? V1, V2 along this direction. So what is the sum?